Hey guys, today we're going to be sinking into the mechanics for Holminster Switch. The first boss we encounter inside of this dungeon is the Forgiven Dissonance. 5 seconds after you begin combat, she will cast Path of Light, which is a room-wide AoE that will deal moderate damage to the entire party. Just after casting Path of Light, she will cast Pillory, which is her tank buster, a high damage single target attack on the tank that needs to be mitigated through. At 90% health, this angel will work her way back to the center of the arena and cast Brazen Bull. Brazen Bull will spawn 4 light orbs on the battlefield that will cast Heretic's Fork, creating an AoE that has a cross pattern from each one. Heretic's Fork has a 10-second cast and will cover the entire arena except for a small triangle sliver on the opposite end of them. Once the orbs spawn, she will cast Thumbscrew, which will be a charge attack into your safe area from Heretic's Fork. Thumbscrew and Heretic's Fork should blast around the same time, lowering the amount of safe space you have. Just after Heretic's Fork, the orbs will cast Light Shot, which will be beam attacks from each one. At the exact same time, Forgiven Dissonance will do Wooden Horse, which is a large cone AoE, blasting in the opposite direction. As soon as Light Shot has happened, the orbs will dissipate, and 5 seconds later, the angel will do Path of Light again, followed by Pillory. She will repeat the Brazen Bull orb mechanic, and follow it up with Path of Light and Pillory at 70, 50, 30, and 10%. At 70% and 30%, the orbs will spawn in the middle of the battlefield, creating slightly different patterns for you to follow. And at 50%, she will summon 8 orbs as opposed to 4, but stagger them in 2 groups of 4 orbs on opposite ends of the arena. There will be safe spaces through every one of these phases, so if you keep your eyes open, this should not be that difficult of a fight once you figure out the patterns. The second boss inside of this dungeon is Tesleen the Forgiven. Tesleen will also have her own high damage single target tank buster that needs to be mitigated through, called the Tickler. She will do this attack approximately every 90 seconds. She will also have a room-wide AoE that does moderate damage called Scold's Bridle. She will do this between 20 and 40 seconds, and she will also do Scold's Bridle at 80, 60, 40, and 20% health. Since she has this one on a timer and at set health intervals, she will sometimes proc them back to back, so keep an eye out for Scold's Bridle. Her third attack is Fevered Flagellation, where she will mark each party member with orbs above their head in sequence from 1 through 4. These numbers are also the order in which she will charge at you, damaging anyone in her path from target to target. So make sure none of you cross over each other or stack on top of each other, or you'll take double damage. She will do this charge attack every 40 to 60 seconds. And her final attack to look out for is Exercise, where she will put a stack mechanic on one party member and put 4 AoEs spread throughout the arena. Once she drops a stack mechanic on that party member, the location you were standing at and the 4 AoEs will be covered in a lasting patch of AoE damage, limiting how much of the arena you're able to move in. Pay attention to this mechanic as it will highly affect Fevered Flagellation and where you're able to stand to avoid party members. She will do this stack mechanic every 60 seconds during the fight. The final boss in Holminster Switch is the Light Warden Philia. Philia will have a room-wide AoE damaging ability called Scavenger's Daughter, along with bringing their own single-target high-damage tank buster called Head Crusher that does need to be mitigated through. Philia will also place this marker above the tank to do Pendulum, a back-to-back charge attack that will deal damage around the tank and then around the center of the arena, and will deal more damage the closer you are to it. So have your tank move to one side of the arena away from the rest of the party, and have the party back away all the way to the wall away from the center of the arena to minimize the damage. One of the hardest attacks to avoid from Philia is Left and Right Knout, where they will lift up their right or left arm to slam the ground, launching any players that are hit up into the air, dealing damage to them and stunning them. These attacks will hit about 60% of the arena from whichever arm is slamming on the ground. They are also accompanied by a very short telegraph marker, so you need to pay attention to Philia's arm as opposed to any ground markers. If you are caught in one of these attacks, Philia will follow it up with the other arm immediately after, and you will most likely be hit by it since you'll be stunned. And then at 85% and 45%, Philia will chain down one party member, locking them up, and doing Ether Sup, which is a large cone AoE with massive damage on the chain player. You need to break that player free from the chains and escape the area before it goes off. Philia will do Taphophobia at 75% and 25%, which will be an AoE marker on each party member, forcing them to spread out. Just afterwards, you'll be forced to stack up for Into the Light, and Into the Light will also be done by itself without any spread mechanic at 50% and just before Philia's death. The last attack to look out for from Philia is Fierce Beating. They will do this when they are around 65% and 15% health. Philia will work their way back to the center and cast Fierce Beating, slamming their fist in front of them, creating shockwaves, and doing a tail attack behind them. The two safe locations for this are on the left and the right side of Philia. Philia will rotate slightly to their right after each slam and tail swipe until they have rotated 360 degrees. Philia's auto attack is not that hard hitting, so if you can pay attention to all the mechanics and markers, Philia is a lot easier to defeat than it looks. Alright guys, there was your quick guide for the Holminster Switch, the first dungeon in Shadowbringers. Thanks for watching, see you next time.